Hello and welcome to How to Create Consistent Content Without Overwhelm. My name is David, and if you're anything like me, it can be very easy to get stressed out trying to figure out how to get people's attention on social media. I think part of it is in the olden days, we might have to try to figure out how to get the attention of people in our neighborhoods and try to do so and differentiate ourselves from other options that were in the neighborhood. But nowadays, with 8 billion people worldwide and 5 billion of them being online, and unfortunately, us having to try to get the attention of others while competing with the other 4.999 billion, I think you can understand why it's often overwhelming to do content creation. But I have good news for you. With a coach, with a system, with a strategy, it can be simple. And even if you're tech challenged, you too can learn how to create consistent content without overwhelm. How does that sound? All right, I want to do a tech check real quick. If you can hear me, please type a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, please type a 1 in the chat before we get going to make sure everyone's okay. I am tuning in from Beltsville, Maryland today. Where are you tuning in from? All right. So do we have some 1s in the chat? Senior technician? Is our audio good? All right, wonderful. So, if you would like to know how to create consistent content without overwhelm, even if you're tech challenged, let's spend the few next moments together exploring it. I wonder how many of you have thought that you'd like to grow an audience because you'd like to share with people. Maybe you know how to help people to fix broken marriages. Maybe you know how to help people to lose weight. Maybe you know how to help people to learn how to dance salsa, merengue. But if people don't know about the value that you have to give, then how are you going to be able to help them? Maybe you have a burning desire to help people in your heart, but you just don't know how to connect with them. Well, I have good news for you. With the right strategy, you too can do it without burning out. Let me get something to drink so that I don't burn out my throat. All right. We're going to go over why consistency matters more than perfection. Content creating ikigai. It's a Japanese term, if you haven't heard of it before, ikigai. Test and learn framework. Parts of effective reel, tools and apps to simplify content creation, how to repurpose content across platforms, and our conclusion, and what I'm going to challenge you to do. Because today I want to be your coach and challenge you to do what it takes to finally connect with the people you want to serve. Why consistency matters more than perfection. If you're like me, maybe you like having things a certain way. You like perfecting what you're doing. But my friends, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the idea of creating content, perhaps it's because you're a little bit of a perfectionist. And I want you to know you're not alone. But here's the good news. Consistency is more important than perfection. Please repeat this with me. Consistency is more important than perfection. One more time. Consistency is more important than perfection. Consistency builds trust, familiarity, and engagement with your audience. The key to success isn't creating the perfect post, but showing up regularly. Then people go, oh, there's David again. Yeah, I remember David. I know him. He's a good guy. I think I trust him. I see him here every day, and he's consistently sharing the same kind of content. Let me check him out. Let me see what he's talking about. By being present on social media, you stay top of mind with your audience, even if every post isn't flawless. I have a really good friend who's a client, and sometimes I see that she stresses out over what she's getting ready to post. And then I just want to remind her, done is better than perfect. And I want to remind you of that too. If you've been having anxiety about your content creation, done is better than perfect. Go ahead and get it done. Then learn from what you've done and then pivot, and you'll be able to make it better. All right, don't quit. So let me share a personal testimony of why that's so important to be consistent and keep going. I decided I wanted to figure out how to be effective with content creation. I had been online for 13 years on YouTube, and I had barely 100 followers. And I thought to myself, okay, I need to do something different here. So I got a coach and I made a commitment. I'm going to laser beam focus and I'm going to learn this thing. And now, after paying attention to what the coach said, I finally started seeing results. So the coach told me it was important for me to post several times a day. And so I posted as many times as I could on a platform that allows for that, being TikTok. And so I started learning from the posts that performed well as the posts that didn't perform well. So I doubled down on what performed well and I started to grow. However, I would grow and then have as many as 30 to 40 days where hardly anything would happen. So please take this from someone who has over 1.5 million followers on social media. You'll do something and it won't work. And then something else will, but it might start engaging or being successful 15 days later. What happens if you give up on day 14? You'll never know the success that was just a day away. So I want you to commit that you're going to do this for the long haul. You're going to figure out how to be effective because you really care about sharing your value with people. And you realize consistency is far more important than perfection. Eventually, I had a big breakthrough, and I remember having 650,000 followers when I went down for a conference in Florida, and only a few weeks later, breaking the million follower threshold on TikTok. If I hadn't been consistent, it never would have happened. So I want to challenge you. Consistent is better than perfect. All right, so I'm going to give you 3 strategies today that are really going to help you with your content creation. Please pay close attention. If you use them, you'll get results. And I want you to send me a message and let me know what your results are. And I would love to share those results as well with my audience to inspire someone else to actually reach for their dreams. All right, Ikigai. How many of you have ever heard of this word Ikigai? Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard of the word Ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that refers to the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what people will pay for. So a lot of people, myself included, try to figure out what is it that I'm supposed to do with my life. And so in the process of trying to figure out what they're supposed to do with their life, they think about, well, what am I good at? Okay, that's important, what you're good at. And then also they think about what is it that they like? So what am I good at? What is it that I like? But you have to keep in mind that you have to figure out what people are willing to pay money for and what people need. Sometimes what people need, they're not willing to pay money for. So if you find the intersection of all 4 things, then you find your Ikigai. For content creators, there's a place where you have your Ikigai as well. That's where your audience's pain points, your valuable solution, and your unique story meet. When your content comes from this intersection, it's aligned with your purpose, which makes consistency, as I block my little screen, which makes consistency easier and more natural. So find the intersection of what it is that your audience needs, the valuable solutions that you offer, and then wrap them up in a unique story. Think about the things that we admire today, the things that we often um, exalt as examples of success. There's often a great story that we have in our minds associated with a brand. That great story helps us to find the connection between the pain point, the problem, and the valuable solution. So make sure you too, I want you to seriously think about what are the pains or the problems and aspirations that your clients have. I know in my case, my clients are often frustrated because they've tried to figure out the social media thing and they post. I have this one friend and she's very beautiful. She has wonderful camera and lighting and she creates these beautiful videos, but they'll only have one or two likes. And she wonders, what am I doing wrong? Well, there's more. You have to figure out a way to engage people. It's not just having content that looks attractive. You have to figure out how to resonate with people and then how to get them to want to engage with you. So you have to highlight their pain points, their problems, and their aspirations. Then you have to highlight your valuable solutions. People want to know what's in it for me. They want to know that you have a value or a solution that will change their life. And then if you make an entertaining, emotion-invoking story that brings these two together, then you will have content creating ikigai and you will have customers for life. All right, so the key points, just to review, keep your clients' pain points in mind, identify the common challenges your audience faces. Your valuable solution is what solutions can you provide that align with your strengths and your expertise and solve the problem or soothe the pain of your client. And then what's the interesting story of your personal transformation, your journey, and how it relates to your audience's struggles. This will help you tremendously to be able to get attention on social media. All right, so I want you to take a moment and right after you're done watching this video, make sure that you make a list of 3 things: the different pain points of your client, the person you wish to serve, then a list of your different skills and expertise, solutions that you're able to give to the particular person who has the problem. And then what's an interesting story you can tell about your personal transformation, how you've helped other people with a similar problem that will get people to put 2 and 2 together and see, oh, yeah, you really are qualified to help me with my problem. And you care because you've probably dealt with it yourself and you found now a valuable solution. All right, so make sure that you do this, because if you keep doing the same thing when you're posting online and you expect different results, I think that's the definition of insanity, right? When we keep doing the same thing and we expect different results. All right, the next thing is I want you to catch this framework. It's called the Test and Learn framework. Once you found your ikigai, the next step is to test and learn. This framework is all about experimenting, learning from the data, and refining your content strategy. So we don't get it right the first time. We have to experiment. We have to do different things, and we have to see what works best for our audience. You don't need to get everything perfect. The key is to test. Test small variations in your content and learn what resonates best with your audience. And then this will take the pressure off of you because you're not aiming for perfection. You're aiming to improve bit by bit. So does that give you a little bit of moment of release? Okay, I don't have to be perfect. No, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. All right, so the steps of the framework. You're going to do some research, and then you're going to create a hypothesis. What do you think will work best for your audience? And then after you create your hypothesis, then you test it by creating a piece of content. It could be a reel, a short form video. It could be a post. It could be a story. And the stories are in the same dimensions as a reel, but they're usually shorter, and they're often static posts or short videos. And then see how they perform. We have to test our hypothesis. Then we're going to take about a week of doing this. And at the end of the week, we're going to look at our metrics. Which videos got the most views? Which got the most comments? Which got the most shares? So look at the different kinds of engagement. And then you learn from this data and you adjust. Oh, okay. So when I made a post and I was wearing the color gray, I got a lot more comments and shares than when I was wearing the color purple. No pun intended. So you have to analyze in order to figure out what works. So I found that when I wear the color black or when I wear the color gray, my videos tend to do better. And so that's what I learned by testing, analyzing, and adjusting. And you too will learn what works best for you. So let's use this diagram here. This is called the test and learn framework. You want to do your research first. You want to look and see what's performing well in your particular niche. Then after that, you're going to make your hypothesis. Okay, well, I see that this person creates videos and they do really well for him or her. Now, my version is going to be a little bit different. So you come up with an idea of what it is that will serve your audience. And then you post. Your posting is testing your hypothesis. And then after you post, say you post for a week, go look at the analytics. See what's done well. Make a hypothesis as to why you think it's done well. See what hasn't done so well. Compare what's doing best in your niche with your content. Are there any similar characteristics that you can learn from? This is the scientific process that allows regular, everyday people to become successful on social media. So you're going to refine after your analysis, and then you're going to go back to posting. And the circle goes on and on until you find out what works. And when you find out what really works, you double down on what's working for you. So I had a coach on TikTok, and he said, I want you to create content about 8, 9 topics, whatever you're really passionate about or whatever you're skilled in. So I did. I would sing, I would play the piano, I would share inspirational thoughts, I would do all these different things. But then what happened was, interesting thing is, I had a friend, he asked me if I'd be willing to sing a song every morning for worship to help him get through the loss of his mother. And I found that when I did it, of course, it was a blessing to him, but no one else found out about it because he asked me to do it on Facebook. But then when I did research, I found out that TikTok at that time was the best place for organic growth. And so by switching the platform, I was able to discover that a lot of people were being blessed, and they may have enjoyed me singing something a little bit, but when I prayed, people were really blessed when I prayed. And so I learned that there were a lot of people also who needed encouragement. When I would give an encouraging word, when I would encourage people not to quit, when I would tell them the things that I wish someone told me when I was going through hard times, those videos did the best. And so I doubled down on what did the best. I did more praying. I did more words of encouragement. People enjoyed when I went live and I played the piano. And so by combining this information, I was able to come up with a strategy that was successful. All right, so we know about content creating Ikigai. We know about making sure that we have this test and this framework, this test and learn framework, where we're going to double down on what works after we do our research and hypothesize and post and analyze. Then we're going to double down on what works. Now, how about when it comes to the most popular form of content these days, short form video? It's one of the most effective types of content you can create, And I'm going to give you a few pointers as to how to make your reels effective. The first thing is you need to have a hook. In the first 2 to 3 seconds, you need to get our attention. And what people do successfully often is ask a question. Hey, have you ever wondered why it's so difficult to lose weight? So that question might be a question that you were facing. You were going like, what on earth? I cannot lose this belly for the life of me. Why is it so difficult? So when they say that question, it resonates with you and you go, oh, I want to pay attention to this video. So that's the hook. Something at the beginning of the video to get your attention. There are visual hooks and there are verbal hooks. We talk more about this in Content Creating Academy Relaunch. If you're interested in that program, you should visit ccarelaunch.com to find out more about that. But we talk about the importance of the hook because if you don't get people's attention, they're going to scroll. So when I say, hey, wait, don't scroll, that's so that I can have the moment to give someone the piece of value. If I can't get them to stop and pay attention, they'll never know what it is that I have to share. So the second piece after the hook is the value of the story. The middle of your reel is where you deliver either a quick tip or an inspirational story or some kind of educational content. And the key is to make it engaging and keep the message simple. Then after that is your call to action, your CTA. You end your reel with something that you're going to ask viewers to do. And usually we classify the ends of reels as either soft or hard call to action. So a soft call to action would be follow for more content like this. And you can say that every time. But a hard call to action is click the link in my bio to get my latest book. And you don't want to do that every time. You want to pepper those out so that people don't get tired of you trying to sell them something. All right, so we got to make sure that we have a hook. We got to have some value in the middle. It needs to be entertaining or emotional or inspirational, engaging in some way, relatable. And then we need a call to action. We need to ask people to do something as a result of the content that they've just watched. Reels can be created quickly and repurposed across multiple platforms. So when you make these short form videos, which have a hook, which have this value or the story section, and they have the call to action, you can use these on multiple platforms and you can use them to consistently engage your audience without spending hours on production. So it takes a lot of time. Usually, like today I'm going live, but it took a lot of time for my team to create these slides. It can take a lot of time to make long form content, but a reel you can make pretty quickly. So I would encourage you to start making short form content like reels on a regular basis. Now, here are some of the tools. People ask me, David, what do you use to edit your videos or put captions on? You don't need to be a tech expert to create great content. There are a few tools and apps that make content creation easier, even if you're tech challenged. So for graphic design, Canva is a godsend. It's wonderful. Canva is what people use to create their graphics. So back in the day, everyone needed to have a budget to hire a graphic designer. And obviously, in this age where people are doing a lot of things themselves, it's opened the door, even if you don't have a lot of resources, for you to start your own business. And you can use a tool like Canva, and there's a free version as well, to help you get started making your graphic designs. Then when it comes to editing video, I recommend CapCut. CapCut does a great job with captions. It will, once you give it a video, it will automatically create captions of what's there, and you can change how they look with different fonts, different backgrounds, and it has different transitions and animations. So CapCut really is a great tool. And then when you use CapCut, you can post to, if it's a short form video, you can post it to YouTube Shorts, to Reels on Instagram or on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Facebook. You can, of course, post it to TikTok. So if you make something in TikTok and then you post it on Instagram Reels, the algorithm will penalize you for making it in another platform. So what's great when you use CapCut, you don't get penalized. So CapCut is a great tool for editing videos. And Metricool is also a nice tool for if you want to schedule things out in advance, then Metricool can help you. And there are a couple other options, but Metricool is the one that we've chosen to use, but we don't use it as often now because there are occasions where your engagement will not be as good when you're using a scheduling device. So keep that in mind. Be careful with that. And then I wanted to mention something that seems very simple, Google Sheets. In order to be very successful with your outreach process, when you're trying to connect with people concerning, if you want to be a guest on their podcast, or if you want to have an opportunity to come and speak at their event and you have a team that's helping get the word out, you want to track the places that you've already reached out to and make sure that there's a systematic approach of engaging with people. Well, I recommend using something very simple called Google Sheets to create your trackers. There are so many different softwares like Monday and Trello that allow you to do project management, and they're all wonderful and great and cost money. So if you're getting started and you just want to have a tool that you can afford, like Google things that are free, then I would recommend using the Google Suite, especially Google Sheets, to help you in your tracking process, which I think is a really important process in your content creation journey. I know our team of virtual assistants, they use Google Sheets to keep track of the different kinds of content that they've made, and it's really been a very helpful tool. And I would encourage you not to. A lot of people say, David, I just can't get started because I don't have money for this, I don't have money for that. How about you get started with the free stuff? And then as you make money, then you can upgrade to things that aren't free. How to repurpose content across platforms. One piece of content can go a long way if you know how to repurpose it. So you can turn a reel into a post. The same thing that you said in a short form video, you can take the bullet points from, and then you can turn that into a post. And you can post that on Instagram, or you can post that as a community post on YouTube, or you can post it on Facebook. But the key is to learn to repurpose stuff. Likewise, you can take a long video like this video right now. This is a longer video, but you can use different software to cut it up into little tiny reels, which you can then repurpose in different places. So one of the keys to not burning out and not being overwhelmed is to learn to repurpose your content. And then, of course, you can post a piece of content on several different platforms. I do that now. I post the content on 5 or 6 different platforms, and that's been really a lifesaver. So use one core message across all content, but tailor it slightly for each platform's audience. So Facebook tends to have an older audience, people maybe in their 50s and 60s. There are other people there too, but that's a sweet spot for people who didn't grow up with social media. Whereas TikTok would maybe have your youngest audience, and then Instagram would be up a notch in terms of age. But you have to keep in mind that, for example, on TikTok, people are going to be used to things being at a certain pace. Whereas you could go at a slower pace, maybe on YouTube or on Facebook, especially on Facebook, because you have an older audience that isn't expecting you to jump around and have jump cuts, etc. So, my conclusion to you: consistency is possible when you simplify the process and leverage the tools at your disposal. Focus on progress and not perfection. Let me say that again. Focus on progress and not perfection. And use frameworks like content creating ikigai, test and learn to help you in your strategy. So I just really want to encourage you. Imagine if I had given up on day 29 when I had a streak where I posted and no one was paying attention. I used to post on a platform that that disappeared, Periscope. So while I've had the success with social media that people see over the last 5 years, there was a stream of years, 13 years, where I didn't see this kind of success. So you need to get a mentor. You need to get a strategy. You need to leverage the importance of consistency over perfection. I hope that you'll take from what we've talked about today and implement it so that you'll actually see results. Start small by creating one piece of content today and test your results. And whatever you learn from it, then pivot. Do something a little bit different until you master what works for you. My name is David, the digital creator, otherwise known as David Griffiths. Thank you for allowing me to talk to you about something that I'm very passionate about. If you need my support on your content creation journey, you can reach me at david@contentcreatingacademy.com. david@contentcreatingacademy.com. And actually, I have a special promotion going on right now. I have an offer called the Quick Wins Challenge. Just had 14 people take me up on this offer. It's where I work with you one-on-one through 5 mini sessions and help you to get some quick wins with your social media. If that's something that seems like it would be a good fit for you, you've been frustrated by not figuring out how it works, I'm happy to help you. And then, of course, we have our flagship Content Creating Academy that's getting ready for a relaunch. And we have some really great testimonials to share about that. You'll be hearing them in the upcoming weeks. But I just want to encourage you, don't give up. Do not give up. Just keep posting. Consistency is better than perfection. But you can't stop there. You have to analyze what you do and pivot. That's the secret sauce. You have to analyze and pivot. You can't do everything yourself. You need to learn who, not how. I know when I first started out, I wanted to figure out how to do everything. And I learned how to do a lot of things. But now I realize you need a team. You need people to do what they're good at versus what you're good at. I want you to make sure that you take the time. I want to make sure that you take the time to find people who are good at what you're not good at and barter with them. But literally, if you want to, I know I'm privileged to have what I feel is like the world's best team of virtual assistants called the Virtual Hive. And they help our clients, they help me, they help my partners. But, I don't want to be biased and say, oh, well, you just have to use our virtual assistants. I'm sure there are other wonderful virtual assistants out there. But if you'd like to hear more about ours, just send me a DM and I can tell you we have a very affordable way to work with our VAs that I haven't heard anyone else doing. So I want you to get the who, not the how. Figure out the person who does what you don't know how to do and partner with them. And then get a coach. Get someone who's gotten results, right? If you want to get followers, if you want to get better engagement on your content, find someone who's getting followers and getting better engagement than you are and learn from them. Please don't do the same thing over and over again and expect to get different results. You have to pivot. You have to learn from what you've already done. All right. I hope this helps. My name is David Griffiths. Thank you so much for your time. Oh, thank you, Bilal. It is a pleasure to see you here. I'm going to be coming live every day this week, and I'm going to be sharing with you insights that have helped me on my content creation journey, and I hope that there'll be a blessing to you. All right. Once again, if you want to take advantage of the Quick Wins Challenge, visit quickWinsChallenge.com, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.